The first night doesn't start with a grand entrance. It starts with silence. The kind that sits heavy in a room after the day has done all its damage and left without apologizing. The kind that makes your ears ring if you listen too closely. She stands in her kitchen barefoot, phone face down on the counter, the overhead light too bright for the hour, the clock too loud. A mug of tea goes cold in front of her because she keeps forgetting to drink it. She's tired in a way that doesn't feel like sleep will fix it. Tired down in the bones, in the back of her throat, in the way her shoulders won't drop even when she tells them to. She's been strong all day, strong at work, strong in conversations, strong in small moments where nobody notices what it costs. She's been the steady one again. Of course she has. Her window shows a quiet street, a few porch lights, a distant car passing by like it has somewhere important to be. She watches it disappear and feels something in her chest sink, like the world keeps moving and she's stuck in the same place. Then the phone buzzes. She doesn't pick it up right away. She never picks it up right away, not anymore. She learned a long time ago that messages can carry disappointment, that notifications can become little reminders that you're alone, even when someone is texting you. But this isn't a random buzz. This is his name, and it hits her with a softness she wasn't expecting. You awake, simple, no emojis, no drama. Just a question that feels like a hand held out in the dark. She stares at it until her eyes blur. Then she types. Yeah, you a pause. Then his reply comes through like he's been waiting. Come here closer, not your body, just you. Come closer in your head. She exhales, slow, like her lungs finally remember how. She leans her hip against the counter, the tea still untouched, and for the first time all day, she stops performing. Stops being the woman who has everything handled. Stops being the one who says, I'm fine, before anyone can ask twice. His next message arrives. Before you drift off tonight, let me talk to you the way a man does when he's thinking only about the woman in front of him. Breathe slow, let your shoulders drop. You don't have to be strong right now, not with me. She reads it once, then again. Then she puts the phone down and presses her fingers into the counter like she needs something solid to hold her up. Because there's a part of her that wants to reject it, a part that's used to people saying soft words and disappearing when the moment gets real. But another part of her, quieter, more honest, melts a little. She picks up the phone again. I don't know how to do that. His response comes quickly. You don't have to know, just let it happen. Let me carry the talking for a minute. She should say something witty, something safe, something that keeps the distance. That's what she normally does. She's good at distance. She's built an entire life around it. But tonight she doesn't. Okay, that's all she says. One word, a small surrender. And that's when he shifts from texting to calling. Her phone rings and her heart does that stupid thing it does when something matters. She hesitates for only a second, then answers. She doesn't say hello. She just breathes into the line. He breathes back. It's quiet enough that she can hear the faint sound of him moving, settling somewhere, like he's choosing a place to be fully present. Then his voice comes through, low and calm. There you are. She closes her eyes. His voice isn't loud. It doesn't push. It doesn't demand. It just exists, steady and close, like a blanket placed over her shoulders without asking permission. He says, I felt the weight on you today. Her throat tightens. She tries to swallow it down. She's been swallowing everything down for years. He keeps going, slow. I know you've had to be strong in rooms where nobody even noticed how much you were holding up. And I know you've gotten used to that. But you shouldn't have had to. A sting rises behind her eyes. She opens them and stares at the kitchen tile like she can will herself back into control. She whispers, it's fine. He doesn't argue. He doesn't correct her like she's wrong. He just says, I know you say that. I know that's what you've learned to say. But just because you can carry it doesn't mean you should have to. That's the thing about him. He doesn't try to fix her. He doesn't try to turn her into a project. He doesn't push her to confess. He just names what he sees as if it's normal, as if her life and her heaviness aren't too much for him. And that scares her a little, because if he can hold it, then she can't pretend it doesn't exist. He says, tell me one thing you haven't told anyone. Her laugh comes out small and broken. I don't even know where to start. Start with tonight, he says. What do you feel right now, right this second? She wants to say nothing. She wants to say she's fine. She wants to keep the mask on. But the day has worn her down, and his voice feels like permission. She swallows. I feel like I'm tired of being the strong one. It's out now. It's real. His response is immediate but gentle. Yeah, I know. Those 3 words hit her harder than any speech could. Not because they're dramatic, because they're simple. Because they say, I believe you. He stays quiet for a moment, then says, you don't have to hold everything alone tonight. Something in her chest cracks open. She presses her palm to her sternum, like she can keep it from breaking too wide. I'm not used to letting someone in, she admits. I'm not asking for the whole door, he says. Just a window. Just enough for you to feel a little air. She exhales shaky. He continues, voice soft like the hour. You matter to me, more than you realize. And you don't have to impress me. You don't have to be perfect. You being here right now, breathing into this quiet with me, is enough. She doesn't answer. She can't. Her throat is tight. He says her name just once, like a touch. And somehow, that's what does it. Tears come. Quiet, hot, unwanted. She wipes them fast, ashamed of them, like she's always been ashamed of needing anything. But he doesn't let her disappear into that shame. Hey, he says, low, no apology. Don't shrink. Let it happen. I'm sorry, she whispers anyway, out of habit. He says, I don't want your sorry. I want your honesty. Silence stretches. Then he asks, what's the hardest part of your days? She looks around her kitchen like it might answer for her. The mornings, she says finally, waking up and knowing it's all on me again. His voice lowers, yeah, and the nights, she adds, surprising herself. When everything is quiet and I can hear my thoughts. He breathes in. That's when it hits you. Yes. Another pause, and then he says, let me be in your nights a little, not to take them over, just to stand beside you in them. She doesn't know what to do with that offer. It feels too tender to hold with bare hands, so she does what she always does when she's overwhelmed. She tries to change the subject. What are you doing right now? She asks, forcing casual. He doesn't let her run, but he follows her gently. I'm sitting, he says, lights off, just the lamp. I'm listening to you breathe. I'm thinking about how you've carried your life like a quiet hero and nobody ever thanked you properly. Her eyes sting again, he adds. And I'm thinking about what it would feel like if you let a man be consistent with you. Not intense, not dramatic, just steady, she swallows. You talk like you're sure, she says. I am, he replies. Why? He chuckles softly, but there's no playfulness in it. It's warm, not teasing, 'cause I'm grown enough to know what matters, he says, and you matter. She shuts her eyes again. Her breathing slows. The tightness in her shoulders eases by a fraction. Says, let's make a deal. Tonight you don't have to solve anything, you just have to rest. Even if it's only in your mind. Let me hold the quiet. She lies down on her couch, pulling a blanket over her body, as if she's finally allowed to be small. Her living room is dim, the TV off, the world outside quiet. She whispers, okay. And for the first time in a long time, she falls asleep while someone is still there. Not physically, but present, fully. That's night one, and it changes something. Not loudly, not all at once, but like a crack in a wall that finally lets light through. Night two comes the next evening, and she tries to pretend she doesn't want it. She goes through her day with the same competence, the same calm face. She answers emails, handles problems, listens to other people's stress like it's her job. She does the grocery run. She smiles at the cashier. She drives home with the radio low, but the whole time there's a quiet anticipation under her ribs. It embarrasses her. She's not a teenager. She's not naive. She knows better than to build hopes on late-night tenderness. She knows people can say anything in the dark. And still, when she gets home, she checks her phone. Nothing. An hour passes. Still nothing. She hates herself for noticing, for caring. Then, when she's brushing her teeth, her phone buzzes. You made it through today. That's it. That's what he sends. Like, he knows the victory is simply surviving. She stares at her reflection. Toothbrush paused. foam in her mouth. She spits, rinses, wipes her chin, picks up the phone. Yeah, barely, he replies. Barely still counts. Come talk to me. She should say she's tired. She should say maybe another night, but she doesn't. She calls. This time she says hello. He says it back, and there's a smile in his voice. Hey, he says, I've been thinking about you. You always say that. I do, he replies, because it's true. She sits on her bed, back against the headboard, hair damp from the shower. The room is quiet except for the hum of the heater. He asks, how was your day? She almost gives the polite version, the summary, fine, busy. But he's earned more than that. Hard, she admits. What part? She hesitates. Then she says, the part where I had to act like everything was normal. He makes it sound like he understands too well. Yeah, he says. That part is exhausting. She laughs softly. You talk like you know. I do know, he says, but tonight isn't about me. Tonight is about you. And I want you to tell me something. She tightens. Like what? The thing you avoid, he says. She goes still. He continues, gentle but direct. Your past doesn't scare me, but I can feel you guarding it like a locked room. I'm not asking you to open it all the way. Just tell me what taught you to be this strong. Her throat tightens again. She stares at her bedroom ceiling, the shadows soft, the corners dark. I don't know, she says automatically. He doesn't push. He waits. His silence is patient. It invites. She breathes in. It started early, she says finally. I learned not to ask why. She swallows. Because when I asked, you didn't come. His voice turns even softer, like he's moving closer without moving. Who didn't come, he asks. She feels her chest tighten. This is the edge, the place she usually turns back. But something about him makes her step forward. My father, she says, barely. There's a long pause on the line. Not a dramatic one. A respectful one, like he's making room. She continues, words coming slow, like they're heavy. He wasn't cruel, not loud cruel, just absent. Even when he was in the house, he wasn't there. And my mother, she was tired all the time. I don't blame her. But I learned that feelings were inconvenient. He breathes out, controlled, like he's steadying himself. You were a kid, he says quietly. Yeah, you shouldn't have had to learn that, he says. Her eyes sting, she adds. Then later, relationships. I kept choosing men who liked my strength because it made their life easier. They leaned on me. They took. But they didn't stay in the ways that mattered. He says, tell me one moment. She closes her eyes. There was this night, she whispers. I was sick. Not dramatic, just sick enough to want someone to bring me soup and sit with me. I called him. He said he was busy. He posted photos with friends that same night. I remember staring at my phone thinking, so this is it, I'm on my own. Her voice shakes. She hates that it still hurts. She hates that she still remembers. On the line, his voice goes low and rough. That man didn't deserve you. She laughs bitterly. Apparently neither did I. No, he says firmly, don't do that. Don't make it your fault because someone else was careless. She's quiet. He adds, you were asking for something basic, human, and he failed you. She swallows. I stopped asking after that. I know, he says. I can feel it in how you speak. You make everything sound small so nobody can refuse you. Her breath catches. Because he's right, she does that. She downplays her needs so she won't be disappointed. He continues, but you don't have to do that with me. She whispers, I don't know how. I'll show you, he says. Slow, silence. Then he asks, what do you fear the most? She laughs softly, hollow. You're not letting me hide tonight. I'm not, he says. Not because I want to corner you, because I want to know you. She stares at the shadows on her wall. I fear, she begins, then stops. He waits. I fear I'm too late, she says. Too late to be loved the way I want. Too late to be chosen. His answer is immediate. You're not. You don't know that. I do, he says. Because love isn't a deadline. It's a recognition. And some people are worth finding later because they have depth you can't get at 25. Her chest tightens. He adds, you think your age makes you invisible. To a grown man, it makes you unforgettable. She closes her eyes. Her voice drops to a whisper. Why are you saying this? Because it's true, he says, and because I want you to stop punishing yourself for surviving. Her breath shakes. He says, tonight, I want you to do one thing. I want you to imagine a future where you don't carry everything alone. She almost laughs, almost pushes it away, but she doesn't. Like what? She asks softly. He answers slow and grounded, like waking up and knowing someone is there, like cooking dinner and somebody else cleans the dishes without being asked, like having a hard day and you don't have to pretend, like being held, not because you're weak, but because you're human. Her eyes fill again. You make it sound easy, she says. It isn't easy, he replies, but it can be real. She wipes her cheek. Then, without thinking, she asks, and you, what do you want? He pauses, like he's choosing honesty carefully. I want a woman who has lived, he says. A woman who knows what matters. I want someone who doesn't confuse love with chaos, someone steady, someone real. And I want to be the kind of man who doesn't run when it gets deep, she swallows. Do you think you are? She asks. His voice drops lower. Yes. She feels that in her body, in her bones. And that's night 2, the night she says her pass, out loud, and nobody leaves. Night 3 is where the truth gets sharper. It happens because something goes wrong in her day. Not dramatic, just one of those small betrayals that hit old wounds. A friend cancels on her last minute. A coworker takes credit for her work. Someone makes a careless comment about her being too independent, like it's a joke. By evening, she feels raw, like her skin is too thin. When his message comes, she almost ignores it because she doesn't want him to hear her like this, but he can tell. Somehow he always can. You're quiet tonight, where are you? She types back, home, just tired, he calls anyway. When she answers, she can't hide the edge in her voice. I'm fine, she says too quickly. He's quiet, then he says, no you're not. That's simple. That's certain. Bites her lip. I don't want to be a problem, she whispers. His voice firms. Don't say that. It's true, she says. People get tired of emotions. Some people do, he says. Not me. She doesn't answer. He continues, calm but solid. Tell me what happened. She tries to brush it off, but her voice cracks. It was stupid. If it hurt you, it wasn't. Stupid, he says. That line breaks something open. She sits down on the floor beside her couch, knees pulled in, forehead resting against them. She tells him everything. The cancellation, the comment, the way it all piles onto the same old feeling of being unseen. When she finishes, there's silence on the line. She expects advice, fixes, solutions. Instead, he says, I wish I was there. Her throat tightens. Not you'll be okay, not forget them, not it's not a big deal, just I wish I was there. She whispers, why? So I could sit on the floor with you, he says. So you wouldn't have to hold your own sadness. Her breath shakes. He adds, you've spent too much of your life being the one who comforts everyone else. Tonight I want you to let someone comfort you. She presses her hand over her mouth. A sob slips out, quiet and embarrassing. He doesn't rush her, he doesn't fill the space with words, he stays. He lets her cry like it's normal, like it's allowed. After a while she whispers, you're too good at this. He chuckles softly. I'm just not scared of your feelings. She inhales, shaky. Then he says, can I tell you something? Yes, she whispers. His voice goes lower, slower, like he's stepping into sacred ground. I choose you, he says. Her heart stutters. She laughs weakly. You don't even know me like that. I know enough, he says. I know your strength isn't a performance. I know your softness survived things it shouldn't have. I know you keep showing up even when you're tired. And I know that's the kind of woman I want. Her eyes fill again. She whispers, people say things. I'm not people, he says. Silence. He continues, I'm not claiming you. I'm not demanding anything. I'm telling you where my heart stands. And it stands with you. She can't speak. She feels like if she says one wrong word, the moment will break. He says, "You don't have to answer right now, just let it land." She nods even though he can't see it. It lands, it settles, it scares her. Because the moment you accept being chosen, you risk losing it. He seems to sense that fear. He says, "I'm not going anywhere tonight. Stay on the line with me until you fall asleep." She whispers, "Okay." Night 3 is the first time she believes, even for a second, that love could be steady. Night 4 is the night she stops fighting it. It's a Saturday. The world feels slower. She spends the day cleaning, doing laundry, trying to make her home feel like a place she actually lives in instead of a place she hides in. She lights a candle in the evening. She makes dinner. She watches a show but doesn't really watch it because her mind keeps drifting to him. By 10, the house is quiet. She's in her robe, hair loose, sitting on the couch with a blanket. Her phone buzzes. "You awake?" She smiles before she can stop herself. Yeah, he calls immediately, like he's been waiting all day to hear her voice. When she answers, he says, "Come closer." She laughs softly. "You always say that, because you always drift," he replies. "And I want you here." She breathes in, letting herself relax into it. He asks, "How do you feel tonight?" She thinks about it. "Calmer," she says, still scared, but calmer. "Good," he says. "That's progress." She smiles. "Progress." He hums. "Yeah, you're letting yourself be human." She looks around her living room. The candle flickers. The shadows move softly. He says, "Can I tell you what I see when I look at you?" She swallows. "Yes." He speaks slowly, like he's painting something. "I see a woman who has lived. I see a woman who has held other people up so long she forgot what it feels like to be held. I see a woman who thinks she's too late, but she's exactly on time. And I see a future that doesn't rush you, doesn't demand, doesn't overwhelm, just stays." Her chest tightens. She whispers, "That sounds unreal." "It's real if we make it real," he says. She's quiet. Then for the first time she lets herself ask, "What does that future look like?" His voice warms. "It looks like ordinary mornings that feel safe," he says. "It looks like you not having to earn love by being useful. It looks like you being able to say I'm not okay and someone stays. It looks like nights like this where you don't have to pretend." Her eyes sting again. And in that moment she realizes something that shakes her. She's not just comforted by him, she wants him. Not in some fantasy way, in a real way. In the way a woman wants a man who feels like home. She whispers, "I'm afraid," he asks. "Of what?" She takes a breath. "This is the biggest truth. Of trusting you," she admits. "Because if I trust you and you leave, I don't know if I have it in me to recover again." His voice goes deep, steady. "Look at me," he says, even though he can't see her. "Hear me. I'm not here to play with you." She closes her eyes like she's actually looking at him. He continues, "I can't promise life won't be hard. I can't promise we won't have moments, but I can promise I won't disappear. Not emotionally, not mentally, not when it gets deep." Her breath catches. He says, "You deserve consistency. You deserve someone who doesn't flinch at your depth." Her voice shakes. "Why me?" He answers like it's obvious. "Because you're rare," he says. "Because you're real. Because you're still soft even after everything. And because when I'm with you, even like this, I feel steadier." Silence. Then she whispers the words she never says, "I want that." He goes, still on the line. "What?" he asks softly. She swallows. "I want someone to stay." His voice turns gentle, almost reverent. "I'm here," he says. And for the first time, she says something back that sounds like a choice. "Then stay." He exhales like he's been holding his breath for years. "I will," he says. Night 4 is the night she lets herself want him out loud. Night 5 is where she chooses him back. But that's the next part.